From this to that. PC rehouse. I might have filmed that whole intro out of focus. What am I gonna do about that now? I'm gonna get her down for this table because she's not very comfortable at this height. Come on, no, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Hi, I'm Caleb, and today we're rehousing my old PC for my little sister into this new Lian Lancool 207 case. It should provide better airflow and most of all improves the aesthetics, because this is quite outdated and this is much more my little sister's aesthetic. If you hear any weird noise, it's Belle the dog. It's our dog just sort of being very excited that I am talking. So hopefully it should be as simple as moving all the components from my old computer into this new case. Fingers crossed nothing goes wrong. Belle, lie down. Hopefully everything goes to plan, as my last PC build did not go so well. It doesn't work. If you're curious about my new PC, there's a video about it here. That was also an all-white build with more modern components. So, specs of my old PC, it's got a Ryzen 7 3700X as the CPU and a 1080 Ti, 11 gigs of VRAM and 32 gigs of 3000 MHz DDR4. My new computer has DDR5. It should be as simple as just moving all the components apart, but because it's quite an old motherboard and is lacking ARGB headers, I've had to purchase this ARGB fan hub X8 from Thermalright. So we'll figure out how that works as we go. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is try and rip out all these components from the old computer. We'll start with the GPU. So that's the 1080 Ti, which is still very much a card that holds up to modern day gaming as long as you're not doing any ray tracing. And this is a 20 quid Wi-Fi card I bought from Amazon many years back. Now we're gonna, I think, take out the power supply. I think we should take out the hard drives first. They just come out on sleds like this. So that's a 1TB Western Digital blue hard drive. And that's a Crucial MX500 1TB SSD. Obviously being very careful with the hard drive here, not to drop it anywhere. I couldn't get it out, so I actually had to snap some of the little knobs that hold it in place on the old sled, but I don't think that's a big deal, because that's the old case part. Now I've got the storage out the way. I think the next step is going to be trying to unplug all the things that are plugged into the motherboard. I think I have to take out some of these fans to unplug the CPU power. I think I now have room to unplug the CPU power. CPU power's out. I think we can take the power supply out now. I'm not sure I can recommend this, but there's quite a few zip ties that I've put on here over the years.
The front panel.
So here's the power supply. Squid octopus thing. Now it's finally time to take out the motherboard from the old computer, carefully. So hopefully it's now just a case of getting this motherboard into this computer. Connector, so...
Sorry, I'm having trouble...
Shut up, Alexa! I think I said like I said. Alexa, you know? It said... Huh? Oh, I have me to say now, she's annoying. I'm starting this clip again.
A few moments later.
Okay, so I've got the motherboard set up on the table here just so I can get my head around the connections for the ARGB. This is quite an old motherboard. It's a Prime B50 Plus, and it doesn't have an ARGB header. So I've got this 5V ARGB controller and the Thermalright fan hub. So I'm hoping, so there's a SATA connector there, which is for power for the controller, and then the controller has a 3-pin ARGB connector on it, which will go into this connection on the fan controller, and I'm hoping that all works. So I've not been successful in trying to get the RGB to work outside the computer, and I think it's just not having everything installed and not all like the bits, the power supply are going to the motherboard. I'm not very good at keeping a tidy workspace. So we're now going to try and put the motherboard in the computer. So should go that way. I'm just going to hold the motherboard by the CPU cooler. Line it up with the I/O shield. Oh, we need to take the old I/O shield out of the old computer. Whilst I'm doing that, I would like to note that I have changed the thermal paste on the CPU. When I retired the old PC, I gave the old PC a good clean out and changed the thermal paste. It's like a 5-year-old computer, so that was probably worth it to do for this, which is the reason why I don't do any of that in this video. There's the I/O shield from the old computer, making sure I don't mess up which way up it's supposed to be. So it's supposed to be in that way. It just pops into place. So that's in, and there's the motherboard again. The Lancool 207 comes with a cool little toolbox, so that's a cool touch, so I can easily find and keep organised whilst I build. There's also some spare parts in there for some of the toolless snaps. It looks like some rubber grommets for fan screws if you did decide to install an AIO at the top here, which there's space for, as well as some other sort of zip ties and things. Whilst I'm here, I'm also going to check that all the motherboard screws are in the right place. Standoffs. Looks like there's a few standoffs there that would clash with this exact motherboard, which I'm going to take out. So just for context, this was the I/O shield I just pushed in, and it's these 3 standoffs which I need to remove, because as I tighten the motherboard down, they're in the way, so it would actually be bending my motherboard upwards if I didn't remove them. So I'm just going to unscrew them now.
Oh wow,
They line up?
Cool. Yeah.
Okay.
That's really cool.
Well, that comes with the motherboard.
Oh right.
The I/O shield comes with the motherboard.
How do bumblebees make the hive? Like, how do they know what a perfect hexagon looks like?
They're born that way.
They just know the angle of the hexagon.
Okay, motherboard is in. Let's get the power supply in. Your motherboard does not match the aesthetic at all, hey? When you're rich, you can get one that matches. Okay, so to get the power supply in, I need to take off one more panel. Those thumb screws are quite nice, they stay in, so you don't lose them. Let's just go in here.
Yeah, do they match it?
No.
Whoa, you're weird.
I like matcha coffee.
A matcha latte is not coffee. It's just matcha.
Isn't it a train as a matcha coffee?
It doesn't have coffee in it. It's made like a coffee, but it's matcha.
You know the packets? I put coffee in it.
Interesting.
Okay, so there's an extension cable, so I'm just gonna shove it in. I'm gonna leave it off now. Power supply cables. We'll start with the CPU. So for the routing, the CPU wires are going to go up through here. And if it's long enough, it's also gonna go across and then in. But I'm gonna try and see if I can sort of force it in a little bit, because it would be nice if it did. Okay, so it doesn't fit. Let's try not going through there and just going up and across this way instead. I finally just got it in there. Just pressing it in until it clicks. So the 24 pin, it just needs to get here on the motherboard, so is again going behind here. And then I think we go through the grommet, and that should be it. It just goes into there like this. Okay, that's the 24 pin. Then we'll pull out any slack. I think we should also route the cables for the GPU. So it'll pop out from here, and then we'll plug into the GPU like this. Brilliant. So that's sorted. What I want to do first is get the hard drive and the solid state drive in. So again, it's just some thumb screws at the bottom here, and there's a little sled. Install the hard drive. That looks right. I'm also going to get the wires in before. Yep, that's one. That's the SATA power to the... I could be saying the wrong connection name here. The connections, there's one for power and one for data on each of the drives. I think they might both be called SATA, but I don't know. Data cable. Now we can screw that one in. I'm hoping this is the right screw. I'm just going to put some of these vibration dampers on for the hard drive. I need a manual, don't I? Okay, so I've actually had a look at the manual now. So I need these rubber washers. So I need 4. These screws, which look like this. And they go like, it's quite fiddly to be honest, and I don't think this is the best design, but if it works to dampen the vibrations on the hard drives, I don't see why this is a bad thing. Okay, time for the SSD. It's back in the computer. I have to slide that into 2 holes, and I just have to tighten the thumb screw here. So that's the hard drive and the SSD installed. Okay, I think I'm also gonna have to put the fan hub into this void here as well. Okay, so now I'm gonna do all the SATA connectors and the front panel connectors. Okay, starting with the HD audio. Well, I'm gonna do the front panel connectors. Next, we've also got the 2 SATA connectors which need to go into these 4 slots. To SATA 1, well, I'm gonna stack them on top of each other. SATA 1 and SATA 3. Next, we've got some USB connectors which just go there. I'm actually gonna try and get under here and attempt to fold it around. So that's the HD audio connector, the 2 USB 3.0 headers, the front panel connectors, and the 2 SATA connectors which go to each of my storage drives. That's the CPU power that we plugged in earlier. That's the 24 pin. And that is all the connections except the fans complete. So we've got to plug in the CPU power is already plugged in because it never came out. The USB header for the light control of the CPU cooler. It looks like I have a decent amount of slack. I might try going out the side here and then going down and then coming up. So we'll give that a go and then back in. Yep, so that's USB control for the CPU cooler lighting done. Next, we're gonna plug in the GPU and the Wi-Fi card. Anyway, so that's the GPU power in. The daisy chain bit is a little bit ugly, but it might be worth actually also booting up the PC just to see if everything works. I'm gonna do that now. I forgot to bring a keyboard, so I won't miss out of the BIOS right this second. I need to get one from where I live. We've got a monitor though, so we can see whether, everything still functions and whether I forgot anything. Should get an output any second. One beat means normal boot. So I'm just checking everything works properly. So I've just checked through on Task Manager. Yeah, so the RAM is at the right speed, we've got the right amount of RAM. Yeah, got the CPUs working, GPUs there. Both the hard drives have appeared in the right places. So now all that's left to do is set up all the fan connections with the RGB controller and fan hub and see whether the front RGB fans work. Let's turn the computer off and get that sorted. So I'm kind of loving how simple this is. So the fans themselves are daisy chained to each other already. So we've only got 3 connectors to deal with. This one deals with the 2 above the power supply, shroud, and these 2 deal with the ARGB and the PWM control of the 2 front 140s. So we've got SATA power here and here, which will power both the ARGB controller and the fan hub. So we've got the ARGB controller, which will basically tell the fans what colors to spin and provide it power. With some set configurations from here. This is not going to be accessible from the outside. And then this is the fan hub. So the fan hub needs to be powered with SATA power from this side. So that is power. It needs PWM input. So I need a wire which goes from the motherboard to here to tell it how fast the fan should be spinning, based off of the temperature of the CPU. And I won't show you this, but it goes into the motherboard and one of the fan headers. And it needs ARGB input, which actually comes from the ARGB controller with connecting wire here. So we'll connect the ARGB controller to this wire, and this wire goes into the fan hub. Hopefully this is making some sense. So now this is all wired up with lots of connections for different fans, up to I think 7 or 8. Then I need to just connect the fans into the fan hub. Should be fairly straightforward. The ARGB controller also needs power. And now that's all wired up, I'm going to turn the computer once more again before I figure out how to mount all this mess inside the computer. Power supply. And fingers crossed, with some luck, the front fans should start to light up at some point. If not, I might have a faulty ARGB controller, which would be a bit of a pain. Unfortunately, I was right about my prediction about the ARGB controller being broken, and I had to reorder another one for the next day. Okay, so we got the new RGB controller in white. I don't know why, so I could tell the difference between the old one and the new one. I have already tested it, and it does work. And then we're gonna go get Faith for her reaction with the RGB working.
Wow! So that's what's broken yesterday.
This thing.
This,
Okay.
but this
And
was not working. Oh wow,
Alright.
that's actually really nice.
Red, pink,
That pink looks purple.
light blue, white.
Right. Oh wow.
Is that all the other different modes?
Oh, that's nice.
Look at it without it. It's even cool.
Wow.
Cool.
Shouldn't you turn this off so they can see the
Yeah,
light?
turn it off.
Wow.
Wow. There, is that it?
Yeah, that's rainbow.
Yeah, I guess that's the rainbow. Alright, you get to pick.
That
Go.
one. That
Okay,
one.
that's what we're having. Going pink.
Yeah, it's blue and pink.
Going pink and blue.
Okay.
Now the computer glows. Sick.
Those are different lights, aren't they?
Sick. Are you gonna peel?
Yeah, there's a mark on it anyway. Wow, it's a lot clearer.
Wow.
That's giving me 4K vision. Whoa.
Last step.
Shall I get this one or this one? Whoa, that looks so cool! Wow!
Wow.
What's that?
So shabby. No, that's not happening. What?
Is the other picture more pink and blue? Whoa!
It's a cool pick.
He's
It's a cool pick.
he's really in my face.
Yeah.
It's not pink and blue at all.
It's life size.
It's blue and orange.
It's not life size.
Can you make the sun pink? There we go. It's done.
Actually looks quite good on this.
Yes. Perfect.
he told me that he was a 26-year-old student at Leeds University, but he was actually a human trafficker.